Hi everyone and good morning. My name is Madison and I'm going to teach you on how to use Teams and Teams live events today. This is through the Business Software Center. We do coffee talks bi-weekly, so feel free to keep joining us every other week at 10:30. Every other week, 10:30 at Fridays, and we'll be reviewing a whole bunch of different topics. If you're interested, you can share your experience with us. We do have a hashtag Coffee Talk TBSC. So if you want to go ahead and say how this is going, whether you learned something, or if you want to just contribute to more discussion, feel free to use the hashtag. We do have a Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn and YouTube account. Also, I wanted to make a note here, if you have to run during the session, that's no problem. We are recording this session, so feel free to follow up with us. We will post this on our social media and YouTube channel later on today. So I also wanted to thank everyone for joining us today, and good morning. I hope you have your coffee and you're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I think the first question we should ask ourselves is, why to use Teams? Right now there's a whole bunch of different tools that we could use like Zoom or Google, but we firmly believe at TBSC that Teams is the best option for businesses to communicate during remote working. And one of the reasons why we believe this is because Teams already comes with Microsoft 365 licenses. Teams also provides third-party application integration. So if you have other apps that you're using, Microsoft is very flexible, so you can integrate these apps to be incorporated with Teams. There is a lot of security, so there's less data leaks, anti-spam and anti-malware are also available. So you don't really have to worry about the security features as much, because Microsoft definitely sends out many updates and ensures that your business stays secure. As far as teamwork, Teams helps with enhancing teamwork. So it's more than just email. I'm not sure if you've been using Teams, but it's a lot like Skype because Microsoft is trying to phase out Skype. So if you've used Skype before, you'll be familiar with chat windows. You can schedule phone calls. You can make video calls and regular phone calls using Skype. It's the same thing with Teams. It's also easy to use. And like I said, if you've used Skype before, you're going to have a very easy time picking up Teams just because it comes pretty inherently. It's very user-friendly. Teams also offers project management, so there's no need to switch between apps to schedule anything. Don't need to worry about pen and paper and anything physical. Everything's with Teams, so it makes scheduling really easily. And then Teams is also available in the cloud, so you can stay connected anywhere you are. So the communication isn't just left in the office. You can communicate virtually on your desktop, laptop, cell phone. Teams is really easy to use, and I really like how it provides many different avenues to be used. Now, there is a difference between the desktop versus the web app and the mobile app, and Microsoft is working on these limitations, but I would say the three big limitations that I've experienced is on the desktop, you have the ability to blur your background or have different background images, just to provide less distraction. But also, the desktop allows you to see more than one speaker at a time. If you've ever joined a meeting on your mobile, say you're taking the train and you really need to join this meeting, so it's kind of unfortunate how you can only see one speaker at a time. But like I said, Microsoft is working on that, so just stay tuned. It's definitely going to get sorted out. Microsoft has noticed a big increase in Teams usage since remote working has increased, so they're definitely putting a lot of things in place to ensure that Teams is more user-friendly. Now, the basics of Teams. So like I said before, Microsoft is phasing out Skype, so Teams has a lot of Skype features. So if you're familiar with Skype, or if you've used Teams before, you should be familiar that Teams has chats, they can make phone calls, you can schedule meetings, and you can manage meetings. Because this is the basics of Teams, I'm not going to be teaching you how to use these features today. So if you really need a crash course at the bare basics of Teams, I would say definitely use the resources that Microsoft has available. They have a lot of free training courses on YouTube. So I would say definitely check that out if you need assistance with using the basics of Teams. So I would say one thing that many businesses aren't overly familiar with is that Teams allows you to make teams and make channels. And so if you can see this picture, it's the bottom right picture, you can see there's teams and then channels. So a team would be your overall organization, whereas a channel would be a specific project that you're working on or a specific department. So different examples that they have here is you can see the marketing department or you can see the performance. So you can communicate with the entire team by selecting the team and then typing in the chat box or making phone calls. And that's going to be public to everybody in your team. Whereas if you start importing information to the channel, so say we're going to the marketing channel, it will only be directed to those people specifically associated with the marketing channel. So only the people in the marketing channel can view the chat and the documents that you upload or make video calls together. One thing that I really like about using Teams and channels is it makes sharing files very easy. So say, for instance, you are working in the marketing department and you need to work on a mailer and you need everybody to reread it, proofread it, and make sure everything's okay. Rather than sending the document around, Teams allows for the Word document to be uploaded and edited in real time. And so what that means is you don't have to constantly be uploading and downloading the same document. It's all available virtually. And so it's available through the cloud and it makes it super easy to collaborate. I believe it makes it very easy to collaborate when you're able to edit these in real time. Now, I actually just put this slide in this morning because I got this email from Microsoft about Teams updates, and so I was reading an article and I pulled out a few new updates that I found very interesting. So one of the Teams updates that they're doing is they're adding a dynamic view. You can see a picture of the dynamic view here, but it doesn't do dynamic view any justice. You just see a whole bunch of people on the screen, but with dynamic view, it's going to give you the opportunity to have a PowerPoint presentation on one side and you can have speaker view on the other. So you don't have to worry about only seeing one or the other. It's now going to fuse both together on the same screen. And then with dynamic view, rather than only seeing 8 speakers at once, I think they're increasing it to 80 speakers at one time. So that's something to look forward to. Another really fun update that they are offering is video filters. And so, you know, we're all really used to using Instagram and photography and slapping a new filter just to make the image look new and fresh. Well, now you can do that with your videos, which I haven't played around with at all, but I'm actually really excited for. Teams updates, another update would be live captions. So as I'm talking, there can be live captions that will pop up underneath my video, so anybody who's watching me would be able to see my speech in real time. And another really amazing update is that you can have now 20,000 participants in a call. Now it's only view only. Obviously, you can't have a whole bunch of videos going on at the same time, but 20,000 participants is huge. So I mean, if you're doing big events, like training, webinars, this is a really good opportunity for your business because you don't have to worry about reaching capacity. So at this time, I am going to open this up for questions and comments. I do advise that if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the questions section on the right-hand side of the screen. And I can go ahead and answer them either right now or, you know, as they come in, I can answer them more towards the end, but feel free if you have any questions for me right now, please put them in the box. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving forward, but I hope that you were able to get a general idea of how to use Teams. Like I said, it's very user-friendly, and you don't have to worry too much about you don't have to be overwhelmed with it. It's very user-friendly, and like I said, Microsoft provides a lot of really useful resources to teach you how to use it if you're brand new to this. Okay, at this time, I don't see any questions, and that's okay. So I'm going to move forward. Okay, so Teams live events, that's actually what we're using right now to present to you on. And with Teams live events, it's different than just using plain Teams, because with live events, it's for large scale or larger audience capacity. So like I said before, with the 20,000 participants in view only, that would essentially be Teams live events. And so this would be really good for training, webinars, company announcements, product launches. Now, what's really cool is Teams Live Events does recordings for you automatically. You don't have to have like an outside application to record your videos. So if you request for a recording, your recording can last up to 16 hours. So that means you can have a meeting for 16 hours and then get the recording afterwards. I'm not sure what you would be doing for a whole 16 hours, but I mean, this is really good for conferences, especially with remote conferences now. This would be excellent for you. And as I mentioned about recordings, Teams also provides a Q&A report and an attendance report. So if you need to go back and maybe respond to a question you didn't know the answer to, you can download the question and answer report and get back to those people who asked. And with the attendance report, sometimes not everyone can sign up to the webinar, so getting attendance report really gives you a better understanding of who your audience is and do any follow-ups with that. Now, with Teams Live events, it's really important to note that you need to have a certain Microsoft license in order to have Teams Live events. And so right now at this time, there isn't any small business plans that can be used to create or hold Teams Live events, but that's okay because a lot of businesses are on E1, E3, or E5 licenses anyways. And those are primarily the licenses that you would need to have access to Team Live events. So at the moment, if you're only seeing a new meeting in your calendar, that means you're not on the correct license, because you would need to see new meeting plus create new Teams Live event in order to know for sure. So the best thing to do would just be to upgrade your license. And you don't have to do it for your whole team. You can just do it for you. Say you're the director of a business, and it might be easier to communicate with everybody using this live events feature rather than having everybody jump in on a call and worrying about whether their video is going to be on or if their microphone is going to be on. Do a Teams live event, just pay for your subscription, get on it, and anybody can join. And what's really nice about Teams live events is you can make it organization specific, or you can even make it open to the public. So as far as presenters, there's different features that presenters are able to have when using Teams live events. As I said before about you can use your organization or outside of your organization. That's the same way with presenters. So whenever you assign a presenter to the to the Teams live event, it can be somebody in your organization. And when you start typing the name in, it should autofill to the employee you're looking to select. However, if the presenter is not in your organization, all you would need to do is provide an email address, and then Microsoft Teams live events will send the outside organization presenter an invitation to join the event. Now, other features include chats, recordings, you can get files, and question and answers. Now, as you can see on the chart, the Q&A must be enabled in order to do this. So every time you make an event, you must check a little box saying that Q&A should be open for your event. And I'll go ahead and I'll show this to you through an actual demo, so you don't need to worry about that too much. But everything is available after your event, and I'll teach you how to access this information once your event finishes. Now, who can view? I mentioned this before, but it's better to recap just so you can get a better understanding. You can have guest users, you can have anonymous users, you can have people external from your company, everyone in your company, or you can target it to only specific groups of people. Now, all of this you're able to decide and determine whenever you create the actual Teams live event meeting. They give you several different options. You just mark the boxes that you would like. And what's really great about guest users or people who are outside of your organization is you can obtain their email addresses through the attendance report. So like I said, if you need to do follow-ups, you can do that. All right, so I'm going to teach you how to schedule a Teams live event now, so bear with me. I need to adjust the screens here. Okay, so this might get a little confusing because you're going to see a lot of screens at once, but essentially this is what the Teams live events presenter dashboard looks like. And it might look a little different. You might never seen this before, but that's okay. I'm going to walk through it after I teach you how to schedule a Teams live event. So to schedule a Teams live event, you are going to want to select calendar. Okay. Now I'm going to go up here where it says new meeting and see this drop down caret, select that, and you're going to select live event. Now, like I said, if you actually do not see live event in that drop-down menu, that means you're not on the right Microsoft license, so you will need to upgrade your license to E1, E3, or E5. So here we are with the new live event. We can make a title here, do demo. You can always select a location, but that's not a requirement. You can see here I am a producer, but you can always invite other presenters. And like I said, you can start typing names and it will autofill. If it does not autofill, you just need to get an email address. Now here, you need to select the dates and times. Typically, it autofills to 30 minutes, but you might have to adjust that if the event will be longer. Now, details of the event, you can go ahead and say, from Microsoft Teams just because I'm giving a demo, but just leave it 2 or 3 sentences just to give a general idea of what your presentation is going to be about. Then we're going to select next. And here's where I talk to you about your audience. What's really cool is you can decide who your audience is going to be and who is allowed to actually view your presentation. And like I said before with security, this is another really cool security feature because you can make it people specific or group specific if it's something like a company announcement that only goes out to your employees. Whereas if you're doing maybe a product launch, maybe selecting the public audience would be better. That way anybody inside or outside your organization can join in. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll just select public so it's open to anybody. And then you scroll down and it says, how will you produce your live event? Now everything is selected except Q&A. Like I said before, this is just the way it is. You must select Q&A if you want a question and answers report at the end of your session. Everything else is automatic for you, so it will give the attendee engagement report, also provide a recording for you as well. And now if anybody has any issues, using Teams live events, they can always contact Microsoft support and Microsoft automatically gives you the URL here. And just like that, it's super easy. Like I said, it's user friendly. We can just select schedule and boom, it is automatically scheduled for you. You don't have to worry about it. Now, what I really like about Teams live events is it gives you 2 different links. It gives you this attendee link and you just select it and automatically copies onto your clipboard. And so what you can use for this link is sending out mailers, sending out emails, communicating on your social media. Anybody with this attendee link can attend. Now I'm saying this is just for the public feature, but this might be a little different if you're doing it to specific audiences. But yeah, you can select this attendee link here. It copies to your clipboard and you can put it anywhere you need to. Now, say you added other presenters, organizers to the Teams live event. What you need to do is actually scroll down And there's a different URL that presenters use, and that is accessed here. And so what you would need to do is copy and paste this URL and give it to your producers. That way they have access to the producer screen rather than the audience viewing screen, and that way they are able to join in with the video and audio and sharing their screen as well. Now, as you can see here, it says live events resources available after event. Obviously, this event hasn't taken place yet just because I created it now, but typically this is where you will be able to access things like downloading the attendance report and the question and answer report, as well as the video. So I did do a demo event here. Let's see if this demo event I did earlier this week. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, this is a demo that I did earlier this week, and I have the video recording option. I can just download this and it goes straight to my computer. I didn't have any attendees just because I was making an example meeting last time, but typically there would be more options like the Q&A report and engagement report that you can download here. Okay, so I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation. So as I showed you before, there is a different screen that producers and presenters use, and it looks a little bit confusing, but it's way user-friendly. Just give yourself some time to practice with it. I would say give yourself 15 to 30 minutes to really practice with it, add other producers to your call to get everyone familiar with it. Right here you see the queue, and so initially your video will pop up here. And then when you're ready to begin your Teams live event, you click send live. And so then when it's live, you can see it here. And so anything in this box is what is live to your viewers. Anything in this box is on deck, if that makes sense. But you have to remember to click this start button here to start your live event. You can't just click send live. You must select start in order to begin the live event process. And then once you select start, there will be a prompt just letting you know there might be a 20-second delay in your audio and video, just because oftentimes, you know, doing these videos might be really high capacity, so there might be a bit of delay between you and your audience. So having a bit of patience when you're asking for questions and answers might be a good idea, just because there might be a 20-second lag. And let's see here. At the bottom, you can see that there's the share, and this is where you are able to share your screen. Once you click the share button, different options will pop up: desktop, PowerPoint, web address. You can go ahead and select whatever box you'd like to share, and that will appear first on the queue screen, and then if you send live, it will appear on the live events screen. And you must remember to turn the share option off if you would like to switch to different screens. So if you're switching from PowerPoint to a web URL, it would be better to stop sharing and then reshare using the different screen. Okay, so how to make the most of Microsoft Teams. So, of course, the Business Software Center, we're known for smarter software management, and so we help with Teams usage. Many businesses are not tracking or monitoring their Teams usage, and spending a lot and wasting a lot on these Teams licenses, but not actually using what they're paying for. And so what I mean by that is oftentimes companies are using Teams. Companies have Microsoft 365 licenses, but rather than using Teams, they're using Zoom to make phone calls, or they're using Skype to make phone calls, and that's really not good for your business, because you're investing in a product and you're not really getting much in return on your investment if you're not utilizing Teams with your Microsoft subscription. So TBSC, we are here to help. We offer Smarter 365, which tracks Teams usage, and we suggest training needs. We can show you user activity levels to suggest different training needs. We suggest ways to increase your usage. And what's really awesome about our service is that we help you virtually, so you don't even have to worry about us coming into the office. We offer quick, efficient, and cost-effective SaaS management. And so what I would like to do with the remainder of this time is do a demo for you of our product. Before I do that, though, I would like to follow up with any questions that I might have with you. So let me go ahead and check the questions here. Okay. Sorry, so one of the questions is, hi, can I ask when the split screen presentation option is available? Currently when presenting, I only see one person at a time. They did just email this morning about that, so they should be rolling it out probably with the next update. I can definitely get in contact with you after this live event to give you a specific date. I just need to read the article over again. But like I said, Microsoft's pretty fast with these updates, so I believe it should be with the next update. Thank you for the question. All right, so I'm going to try switching to my desktop to show you how Smarter 365 by TBSC can help you with your Teams usage. So here's the Smarter 365 dashboard. And what you want to do is select Microsoft Teams. We're just waiting for it to load, sorry. There we go. Now, like I said, Microsoft 365 is a really great product because you get more than just Teams. You get a whole bunch of different things that you can use, like Exchange, OneDrive, SharePoint, Yammer, etc. But with Microsoft Teams, I would say it's very important to know your usage, especially if you're a business using remote working as an option right now, just because you can get a better return on investment if you know what your employees are using. So at the top here, you can see the total active user. This is only 27%. You can see how many meetings that there have been. Now this is within 30 days. This is a month report. You can see active user percentage and inactive user percentage. Now here, overall user activity count, you can see the user activity is super high when it comes to chats. So this business is definitely using chats way more frequently than calls or meetings or team chat messaging. So this is a lot of private chats that the company is using. And then you scroll down here and you can see different users, and you can see that they're this is anonymous, but for your business, it would show their email address and it would show their user activity here. Anything in bright green is high activity. Anything in red is low activity. And what I'm going to do is actually, if I can make this report bigger just so it would be easier to see. And we're going to show it as a table just so it's easier to see. Here you can see the date of last activity. What you can do is select that. And what it should do is reorganize. Here we go. Okay, so it reorganized our users, and you can see there's a lot of people in red here. So that means there's a lot of people in this business who aren't using the calls, the meetings, the team chats, the private chats. And like I said before, this is really not good for your business. I mean, you're paying for this license. It's better to use this rather than using outside applications. So we would suggest here, if your employees aren't using these, that you should get them in on a training session. Microsoft does provide free training for your business, but you can always have somebody in your company do a Teams live event, for instance, and teach them how to use it. Or you can always direct them to Microsoft resources. Like I said, they have a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube that walks you through how to use Teams live events. Or I'm sorry, just Teams in general. But yeah, this is not really good seeing all this red here. So we would definitely advise additional training for your business to make sure you're using the most with your Microsoft 365 subscription. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that so you can get a general idea of what we do as a business and how we can help you improve your Teams usage. I'm going to go back to my presentation here. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to finish up the call. I know it's 11 o'clock and typically our coffee talks are 30 minutes, but I will after this review some more questions because I see a few more questions coming in, so just bear with me. So first, I just want to thank you again for joining our coffee talks. Like I said, this is a bi-weekly event, so our next coffee talk is going to be on the importance of compliance, and that will be on the 24th July at 10:30 a.m. If you'd like to sign up, feel free to sign up on our events page at businesssoftwarecenter.com. And just a little bit about us. Like I said before, we do have a Coffee Talks hashtag, so please feel free to use our hashtag on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube to share your experience, whether this is working for you, whether you learned something new, or to give us feedback, or to even contribute to the conversation. You know, we'd love to hear your voice. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Teams live events and look at the questions coming in here. Oh, I just had somebody say thank you to me. You're welcome, no worries. I have another question here. Apart from participant capacity, etc., what are the main advantages to Teams in comparison to, say, Zoom for an enterprise user? Well, I would say the biggest advantages to Teams is that you're already paying for a Microsoft subscription. Many businesses are already on it. So I know that a lot of universities right now are trying to do virtual learning. And what I find really bizarre is that these universities are paying for Microsoft subscriptions, even for every student. But some of them have now also bought Zoom licensing. And I find that really bizarre because you can get all these great features with the Microsoft. It's already included, you're already paying for it, so why not use it? So I would say that is one of the main advantages is that, you know, Microsoft might not offer the same features as Zoom right now, but like I said, they're rolling out those new features. In particular, what they're doing is I don't want to say copying Zoom, but they're being inspired by Zoom. And so in the next update, they will have the opportunity to have presentations as well as speaker view simultaneously on the screen. So, I mean, that's pretty good as well. So that was a really good question. Thank you. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in at this time, so I hope you were able to learn something new today. I know 30 minutes is not a lot of time to get through this, but I hope you were able to just get your toes wet with how to use Microsoft Teams and Teams live events. If you have any questions for us, feel free to email us at sales@businesssoftwarecenter.com, or like I said, use the hashtag and we can get in touch with you there. So thanks again for attending, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Alrighty. Have a good day. Bye-bye.